Hello, everybody, and welcome, all you little hellions, to Roll20 Presents, etc., Descent into Avernus. It's nice to see you. I'm excited to play Dungeons & Dragons. How's everybody doing? Are we doing good? We holding up? Are we better than being submerged in the pits of hell, at least?
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this about this adventure and Dungeons & Dragons in particular. It does make hell seem pretty cool. Well, how are we all spending our time in these strange ages? Dave, are you fingers crossed for an early copy of Final Fantasy?
Yeah. I mean, we got that announcement. Like, we're just going to mail those out. And when you get them. Try not to spoil it. I'm like, what's going to stream? Yeah, I'm probably still going to stream it.
I saw that Atlas put out another one of those don't stream warnings for the new Persona game.
For Royal.
Yeah. A game that already came out a while ago. I never understood that, and I still don't. And I mean, I guess.
Come on.
Yeah. I read the Square announcement where they were like, please. But if you don't, whatever, but please. We know it's a very old game. So,
yeah,
maybe you think there's already spoils out there, but there's lots of new stuff. Please don't spoil it.
It's a nice one, actually, comparing it to the Atlas one. It's like, we were worried that people weren't going to get the game on time. So we're doing this. Mm-hmm. So please don't take advantage of us trying to be nice to you. So I'm like, I'm probably going to try and do that and spoiler tag the things and don't put titles of the stream that relate to. It's like, oh, we're going to go and fight the secret boss, Don Corneo's grandpa.
Yeah, right. It is tricky, but it's cool that we're potentially going to get it early. That's kind of cool of them. Yeah,
it makes up for the secret reboot of the Final Fantasy Tactics series.
I saw you tweet about that
horrific gacha game.
Yeah, well, no,
God, there's such a good game under there, and people worked so hard on all the systems. But the entire start menu, you've got character up, sick, 20 billion different kinds of daily login rewards and prize spins and guaranteed ultra rare. I was looking at it, I was like, okay, the lowest rarity you can get is rare. Mm-hmm. I don't know if ultra or super or mega is the next tier. And then I don't even know what SSR stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it you're speaking another language right now. I have no idea what you're saying.
It was really disappointing.
So I was gonna say. So before we move on and give Blue Jay the attention she so clearly is in requirement of, Dave, I wanted your opinion. Bravely Default 2. Is it going to be good or is it going to be no good? What do you think?
For a specific kind of person who really liked the gameplay of Final Fantasy 5 and the other Bravely games, it looks pretty good, but it's still really early.
It's the balance needs. It's the third one, right? Because there was Bravely Default and then Bravely Default.
Bravely Second, right? And Bravely Default 2. And the confusing thing is, Bravely Second is the sequel to Bravely Default, but Bravely Default 2 has nothing to do with the other ones. So it's kind of the wrong way around.
God bless you. Japanese role-playing
It was really
game.
fun.
Well done, Japan.
Good.
Yeah, I maxed everything that I could do in the demo. But it needs lots of iteration on it. There are things that are way too strong.
That makes sense. Yeah, that balance would be a thing that they would do. Yeah, because I saw there was a video of it, and I was like, this seems interesting. I guess there's a demo. I played the first half of the first one and was pretty excited about it. So maybe we'll check it out.
We don't talk about the ending of the first.
Yeah, we won't talk about the ending of the first one. Yeah,
that's another
chat with some timely too fast to default.
Love it. Bravely Default Tokyo Drift. Nice. Yeah. Blue Jay. You look like you're dying because no one has paid attention to you in the last.
Chat. No chat.
Chat is good. Okay.
Well, I was dying because I literally could not understand a single thing that was just said. For the
it's like listening to people talk about Magic the Gathering when you don't know anything about it.
I was just like,
what?
Default. I understand that. I also understand the word brave.
Yes.
Nope,
The
I
original
don't
game
know.
was called
Okay.
Bravely Default Flying Fairy. And then there was Bravely Second, and now there's Bravely
That's
Default.
where the fairy flies, because specifically, when the reveal comes out,
Yeah.
you take out the letters and it says Airy Lies.
It's so silly.
I don't
It's
understand. Anyway, yes, yesterday was my 4-year partner anniversary on Twitch. It was yesterday, so I just had this tiara on my desk, and I thought that I'd probably just say that, so I put the tiara on just because some really cute pink-haired guy got it for me. It was pretty small.
Are you just going to wear it all episode? Because you know people
No,
are going to be
it gives
confused
me-
about how
Oh,
November
are
got
we-
turned into a weird princess.
No,
Are we
it
just
gives
using
me-
props from our desks?
Yeah. No,
There we
it gives
go.
me a headache wearing a coronet and headset. I need Astro to get on the like headset that is also a crown game because
I
they
don't
have
any
the
props
I
on
don't
my desk,
either.
which
Yeah, I have
I
nothing.
think is
they
We
have
have
the
a-
bad for
ones
me.
they have the headsets that have the cat ears.
don't-
Those exist, but I need one that is a crown also.
Mhm.
I don't need the cat ears. I've never been cat ear lady, but crown would be good.
Yeah, I don't. I have
feel
nothing.
Like
I've
I
got
can
my
solve
phone,
this problem with glue.
my wallet,
and a
big
headset.
dust bunny under my desk. I don't...
Adam to put Dust Bunny
No,
on.
I have asthma. Get away from me. Well, Blue Jay is trying to advise me to do things that are very dangerous for me. Elf, how have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm trying to move at the moment.
Mhm.
And it's hard to move during crisis of health.
Yeah. I have a friend who is going to help move someone cross country, and then their flight got canceled and they couldn't get out there. So then she had to just drive for 20 hours by herself with everything she
Yeah.
owns. It's
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
saw that.
There's just a lot of shit to do, and all of it is less convenient, basically. You know, like every
Yeah.
possible service that you could require to move is now impossible to acquire.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
So pointedly, internet is a big deal for me right now, and I'm trying to sort that out.
Yeah,
So.
every person who streams who ever has to move, that's the big scare is the like,
Yeah.
what if I move and the internet is bad and there's nothing I can do
Yeah,
and the
the
wiring in the
saga.
building sucks
The
and
saga of Sam stripping.
yeah, Anne had the same problem. It's a terrifying thing. It's why I don't ever want to move. Like every time my landlord was like, "You still enjoying the place?" I'm like, "Yes, please don't make me leave, please." All my stuff is there.
The thing for us, right, is like we're gonna have 3 people that all need to work from home.
Yeah.
Like in this house when we move there.
That has
So-
been a sweeping thing, right? Is like YouTube reducing its default bandwidth.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of services are like, we suddenly have 3 or 4 or 10 times as many people using the service, so the bandwidth shoots way up. And it's like you don't think of these things as being limited in the way that like eggs are, right? You're like, there's internets, just put them all into the computer, just go. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, like
But the
I'm
machinery is, it's
like I'm generally
struggling.
not a sport person, and my physical therapist, I just like had my last session, and I went to go look for the weights that we use in my physical therapy, like tiny little 1-pound weights, just so I could keep it up so I don't like die or whatever. And I didn't even think about it that all the gyms are closed, so literally all of the weights on Amazon
Yeah.
were
So
bought.
here's your solution, right? Go get a big book bag, take all your Dungeons and Dragons books, put them in
Erica-
the bag, and
Erica
then lift
Ishii
that,
did that.
bag because
I know, I only need tiny weights. Dungeons and Dragon books are too
Canned
heavy.
goods?
yeah,
Yeah.
canned goods,
No, I
Okay,
mean there's
how about this, Blue
solutions to
Jay?
be had. I just didn't
But,
think
yeah,
about
you
that
didn't think
as a
about any of
thing
it.
If you
because
really
I don't
wanna-
have experience.
You really
with-
want to test yourself, take all the dice you own, put them in a bag, and then try to lift that. So good. So anyway, Elf, you playing anything to keep the madness off? How's Neo going? Are you done? You play through it all?
I am not done
Mhm.
because I keep playing every mission that exists in the game, and
Yeah.
it's very side mission heavy.
Mhm.
So I haven't even gotten to New Game Plus yet, but I'm playing some.
Still digging it? Go on.
I've been doing a lot of Stellaris with the new DLC.
I was gonna say there's new stuff for Stellaris, right?
So the Federations DLC came out, and Federations is awesome. It
Cool.
is like it makes diplomacy worth doing. in the
that's
game, which it wasn't before.
Yeah.
Of course, I've integrated using this new amazing diplomacy power by playing races and like ethics that have no diplomacy at all.
Oh, good. Yes.
Which is really helpful. You know, when you play a devouring swarm or like xenophobic,
there's not
perfect
really
pacifists
diplomacy there. Yeah.
There's just not really much diplomacy going on. So there is a great system that exists, but am I interfacing with it particularly well? No, not
all
really.
that matters now is that you, as a warlike power, have more things to say no to.
Well, I thought the best way to demonstrate how to be a xenophobic pacifist is just to ignore everything that's happening on the galactic floor. I like to imagine that I do have a representative there, but they just never do or say anything.
Yeah,
but they're just sitting in their like Senate chair, just watching whatever's
just
happening.
Observing and being judgmental.
You know, occasionally they're just like, we abstain. You know, like, and that's it. Like,
yes, the galactic abstainers. Truly a dangerous force.
Reminds me of an episode of last podcast I was listening to where they tried to put the mafia men on trial and they just pled the fifth at every question.
That's
like,
right.
I abstain. I abstain. I abstain.
It's a good
fifth.
way. It's a good way to keep your secrets.
Well, you know what they say. The only way to truly be safe is abstinence.
Good job.
But yeah, so it's been really fun. Really, really, really good.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's nice when DLC comes out for an old game that you really like, and then it gives you a little bit of like an excuse to dive back in.
Andrew and I have been doing multiplayer stuff on Tuesdays together, and Stellaris is our current game, so
nice.
I kind of got back into it from that. So
yeah, I've been checking it out, like lurking. It's a good thing. I remember when you got me into Stellaris for the first time, and then I found the Star Trek mod.
yeah, it's really good.
Oh, it's good fun.
I started playing Crusader Kings because of the Game of Thrones mod, so yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Crusader Kings is another great
What about you, Lauren? How are you surviving these difficult times? And is the answer meetings?
Yeah, it really is. It turns out when like what you do is make content online and people are like, we want content online, then you have to have a lot of meetings about making content online.
Yeah.
That in cosplay, as evidenced once, as always, by the fact that I never clean out my room between streams.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I hear that.
Just chilling, making
killing
stuff,
it, making things. That's cool. That's good.
I was super into magic. That's like my
I've noticed that. It's great. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I guess Theros is coming out quick. Okay, so that'll be cool.
Ikoria, I think it's the next one.
No, the new D&D book, the Theros book.
Oh yeah, the Theros D&D book.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the next magic set.
Right.
What do you call yourself, a nerd?
I was about to say, and you've passed the test. Congratulations.
Speaking of being super into magic, they sent me this today. Ooh.
Nani?
Ikoria, Lair of the Behemoths. It's a digital ticket or something.
Oh, fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that gonna make artifact decks viable?
I think big monsters.
Then I don't.
To be honest, I know it says there's always a bigger monster, is what it says.
And I'm not allowed to say the secrets that I know, but I know secrets, and they're like 6 feet away from me.
Yeah,
they're good robots in it.
We just look meaningfully. So the thing is, Dave, is that there was a time where robots were the thing.
Yeah.
The last prior to now, that was the block I played in, doing Mirrodin, and it was all artifacts and shit.
Mirrodin.
I couldn't play that because I was a student there.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll come back around.
Or not
right?
born. I don't know.
Didn't they destroy Mirrodin? Wasn't that? I don't remember. There was like a thing that they
Mirrodin
voted on.
Mirrodin got all fucked up by
they did a new
the
Mirrodin
Phyrexians, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. It's my understanding that's pretty much what happens. Where there's a setting, and then the next time they come back, it's like, now let's ruin it, right? Like,
but also, like,
here's the
doesn't
setting,
everything eventually get fucked up by the Phyrexians? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Basically, all they do is fuck things up. So
Yeah, exactly. I've learned so much about Magic and its canon in the last year. Because
doing the Ravnica show?
Yeah, doing Jace Beleren Must Die, and then also just playing again. And I'm like, all right, I get it now. It's like a pretty well fleshed out multiverse. There's some good, interesting stuff in there. Unfortunately, all the settings I'm interested in seeing again, every time I mention them, people are like, ooh, no, that was a bad set. We don't talk about Kamigawa. Sorry.
yeah, it's real sad. Kamigawa was awesome.
Yeah, right. So who knows? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for the indeterminate future. We'll see.
Just put vampires in it and I'll play it.
Yeah. Fair.
Your bar is low.
Should we continue? We're coming up on, I think, if I had to guess, I would say we probably got two or maybe three more episodes in chapter 3 of Descent into Avernus, which means we are just past the halfway mark on the adventure. And
wow, the whole adventure?
Last time, there's five chapters, and it's my impression that this one is the longest. But levels going up, combat taking longer. There are a few encounters, I think, at the end that kind of drag things out. But I'm excited to see this next bit, because we're gonna go and meet a brand new friend. Well, an old friend of Bren's, but a new friend for everyone else. We are headed for Bell's Forge, and I think the last thing that we rolled was we have the 2d8 for the navigation to bring you to the forge. So I imagine we can just begin there and see what we can do. Okay. All right. So let me read to you the box text for the rearrival when you get to Bell's Forge. And I think probably while you're here, Bryn, in the presence of the forge, you feel a vague sense of unease, above and beyond the usual, but like that feeling of sitting outside the principal's office, right? You feel that like
I'm in trouble.
You're gonna get called out particularly, and you can feel it, right? You have this sense of like this place is going to be maybe more significant for Bran than for the others, but we'll see how it plays out. So, a gargantuan volcano dominates the horizon. Clouds of fire and ash. Yeah.
Sorry, point of order.
Is there a
it
horizon?
4x4 squares? Because that is how big a gargantuan it's exactly 20 feet by 20 feet.
Yes, yeah.
Or is it bigger than that?
Fictionally, okay, a very big volcano.
There we go.
Yeah, perfect. Clouds of fire and ash spew from its caldera, and the air trembles with its angry grumblings. A vast, multi-layered fortress has been hewn into the volcano's rocky slopes. So as you arrive, it's clear that this is no ordinary volcano, and that it is also not inoccupied. You can see various servants of Bel, one of the Nine Hells' glorious overlords, kind of gathered around doing various hell business at the base of the forge. So
what are the servants called? The Bell Boys.
Yes, when you arrive, a spine devil with a tiny hat comes up and asks for your keys.
They prefer the term concierge.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
That's very good. I like it. I like dad jokes, Dave. So you arrive at the base, or you're arriving at the base of the forge. My question for you is this a like pull up and do an Akira slide and everybody jumps out situation, or are you going to stop when you encounter the first of their servants and like introduce yourselves? What's the approach vector for this?
We were here largely diplomatically, so I feel like
we're totally invited.
Yeah, I feel like taking the we belong here approach.
Okay.
So maybe stop and introduce ourselves seems appropriate.
Yeah, so just as a reminder for everybody, audience and players alike, you have two separate reasons to be here. Well, maybe three if you want to stretch it. So, first of all, Bryn promised Bel the return of 9 rods of adamantine stolen from Bel and hidden somewhere in Avernus. Right? So there's that promise. You also have a letter of introduction from Ralzala, a Dao ally of Bel's who you did a favor for. And then I guess sort of peripherally and third, tying both those two together, is that we know now that despite outward appearances that Bel is a loyal co-worker of Zariel's and servant of Asmodeus, the truth is somewhat more complicated in that Bel is actually envious of Zariel's newfound power and cachet in hell and would be happy to see the archdevil herself take a fall. So it's a sort of enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. Bel might also know more about the fate of Elturel and offer suggestions on how to return it to the prime material plane from whence it came.
Quick question to potentially roll back. No,
Yeah.
we'd have to do it forwards. It would take too long.
Okay. All right.
I forgot that when I swapped spells last level,
Yeah.
I picked up locate object so we could do that side quest for you, Lauren. And I forgot to mention that was why I
the
did that.
adamantine bars.
Yeah. Isn't the range of
Yeah.
locate object like
It's only
1,000
It's like
1,000
1,000 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think probably you'll need a lead on the rods first, and then the spell will become very handy because once
Okay.
you have a general
That
lead on
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't actually know like what 1,000 feet is. It's just a made up number in my head.
1,000 feet is like 300 meters.
It's like
That's
a
also a made up number. In my head.
10,
Like
10 or 11 story
soccer
building.
field.
You can still see. Like
Oh,
1,000
okay.
feet is like you can still see that where that is. So like it has to be within your visual distance. Like you could probably see like way more than 1,000 feet, honestly. So like it's
Mm.
pretty close to you.
1,000, yeah,
Yeah.
1,000 feet's pretty close. It's more finding your keys in your house than it is, finding the Holy Grail.
Can you upcast it?
I guess you could
I don't
No.
think.
scribe, but then you need to know the object. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
I could scry it if I was allowed the thing, the material component, but I'm not.
Yeah, it might. I mean, also if it's hidden, it's probably hidden magically as well, right? If
Oh.
Bell can't just be like, "Where
Yeah.
are my rods?"
Also, I have Revivify prepared.
Oh, nice.
If at some point we want to acquire, if we can, more diamonds. or
I
undiamonds.
didn't
So
grind up one of them. So
I need, most of my spells don't need components, but this one is 300 diamonds worth 300 gold pieces.
nope, can't help you there.
So
You need to go back there and just be like,
Yeah.
look, you need
It's
to open
something
a
to
diamond
consider
store
'cause
for
I-
us.
I can have it.
I mean,
prepared.
again, you're going to a forge, right? So maybe if you play your cards right, Bell will be able to provide. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know,
true.
Abyssal diamonds or something.
Mhm.
Probably.
Cool.
Be like, hey, so
Cry
I
when
don't
you
really
look at
need
them.
you. I don't really need you to bring me back from the dead, but enabling me to bring someone else back from the dead.
Yeah.
Like, I'll still go on this stupid fetch quest for you, but
Yeah, just
People-
negotiate. There
Give
you
me
go.
a
If
lead.
people are basically made of carbon, we're carbon-based life forms. If you got like 1,000,000 skulls and like crushed them down, could you make?
So Dave, have you heard about dinosaurs?
Yeah.
So over time they don't turn into diamonds.
No, but they
into
don't have
whale.
fabricate.
Right. So magic and skulls.
Yeah, like they've got a
My
load of
two
skulls
favorite
here. I
things.
just mush it.
God,
I
being,
don't.
being on a road trip with the 4 of these characters would be intolerable.
I
mean,
feel like we're fine. It's Lulu.
It's
that's
the
problem.
Thankfully,
It's the
Lulu
suspension
doesn't
of-
take up a seat. Lulu flies around.
It's the suspension of D&D belief that comes with the
wait.
suspension of disbelief that comes with every D&D party is like not everyone's just best friends.
Actually, the suspension of disbelief is a car part you can install to protect your party from illusions.
I'm done.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
Dave
I
is
would-
making
I
me
would
do
say-
this.
If dinosaurs turned into the diamonds, would they be diamond sores?
Yes.
Dimetrodons.
Yeah.
All right.
Elf
Okay.
is
And
like,
yes, you are correct. A road trip with these characters
Booty,
would
come
be
back.
absolutely terrible.
Booty.
I thought the suspension of disbelief was a pretty good joke, but
It
whatever.
was. It was.
Okay.
I hate
so
all of you. I hate you so much.
you arrive at Bell's Forge, and I think that probably if you just straight up drive up, many of the devils turn to look, right? You attract their attention, and some fly or jog or lope after you, anticipating that this is some kind of assault. And you're only able to drive so far before you reach a kind of ground perimeter of iron, basically tank traps sticking up out of the ground, protecting the base of the forge. It's clear that the forge is a high priority target both for demons and also for rival devils. There are pools of demonic ichor scattered about. And in fact, I think as you drive up, you see various skirmishes occurring around. But as you drive up to the tank trap, there's an opening in the front with some guardian devils. We've got some probably some spine devils flying around and a couple of bearded devils with halberds. And they I mean, I guess if you don't slow down, they try to jump out of the way, but they're basically stepping out to get you to stop, to find out who you are, so you don't just drive up to the front door.
Being the driver and also now recently lawful evil, one has acquired a sweet pair of shades.
Nice.
No one knows where they came from, but she has them.
Okay, question. Are these like those tiny like round shades like Crowley,
No.
or are these
I think
like
they're aviators.
okay.
Mhm.
I think they're like aviators.
Are they
And-
reflective?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Super
And a
reflective.
box of
Can't see your
donuts
face. It's
just
for
on the
intimidation.
dash for some reason.
That's
Yeah.
the lawful part.
Yeah, and she'll stop because again, the lawful part. But
Yeah.
she's like she plays chicken with them a little
Right.
bit.
So you stop with the chomper
Yeah.
on the front, like right in front of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the two
Oh,
guard
sorry,
the
I
two
didn't see you there.
guard devils, they look at each other and they kind of like look up at you, and you can see you've clearly shaken them. And one comes around to the driver's side and looks up, and he
It's like
and he-
leaning on the edge. There's no window there. But she's still leaning.
what's up? And and he looks up and says, "Are you expected by the Dark Lord?"
Sauron? No.
We don't know him. He's not from here.
Your Dark Lord is in another castle. If Sathra doesn't say anything, then Bryn will talk. But
Yeah, he's addressing you because you're
I
driving.
mean, you're
she's
driving. yeah.
Bryn kind of looks him up and down, and it's like, not expected, but we are welcome.
And who are you?
Bryn just like points at herself, assuming that they're talking to her.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, just assume they're talking to you. They recognize you as passengers, but they're referring to the whole group. You're like, Bryn. You point yourself. Okay. They look at each other, and there's a moment of kind of like, do we know that name? Do we know who this is? And then the other one nods, and the one speaking to you says,
That's not good.
the other one says, "You're expected. Go on in." And then
that's not a good
they
sign.
step out of the way.
But yeah, Bryn's like turns back to the other ones and is like, "Oh, they probably think I'm bringing the stuff that I have not brought yet." But
Almost certainly they are. Yes.
cool. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Might,
All right.
I might need your help with this
Should-
one, Sathra.
I'll take the lead on this.
Should we have done that before we
Well,
came?
they didn't exactly give
Well,
me useful
could've.
information to find it, so
Someone took some stuff somewhere in hell which doesn't actually have any fixed locations in it. Great, thanks. I have magic. I don't have god magic
Yet.
let's Ozarova.
yet. Good addition. Does anybody else want a quick Infernal Primer? Just so we're all in the same loop.
Sorry, what?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we all want to speak Infernal, it's probably not a bad idea.
Oh, native tongue. It's fine.
Okay, definitely Sathra.
Mm.
Why not? Let's
I
just
don't think that will go over well here.
let's just burn a bunch of spells because they're divination
I mean,
spells and spell slots come
no,
back. It's
no.
probably fine.
It's fine, Sosorovo. I can be a translator.
Well, I already cast it on myself. I just realized it was rude.
Well, I'm just saying that like you don't need to waste your spell slots. We could just say November is translating.
When
Ah.
I was unconscious and dying, he did speak to me in a way that I understood. So
Yes, generally they can.
A lot of them do have psychic powers.
Yeah. And also like in terms of spell slots, like you don't have to waste it. There's someone in our party that does speak Infernal, and we could just say if it comes up, like I will tell whomever what it is they said.
Okay, that's fine. I
Yeah.
can cycle this one anyway into a usable spell slot, so it doesn't matter too much. But I've used one up.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at some art I have to show you. I forgot how silly Bell looks.
Yeah, he looks like such a dork.
He does look like a huge dork. He's
He
got some
looks
dork-
like
he's
he
got some
looks
dorky
like Tim
friends,
Curry
too.
in Legend. or-
So so you pull into essentially the parking lot out front of Bell's Forge. There is a cavernous entrance. You can see massive waves of heat in the air, and I think you can all feel as you get closer. You can feel like you start to sweat if that's a thing that your species does, and it's not great. And this is from outside. There's heat wafting out of the
Sweat.
entrance. Yeah, right. And I think there are probably a handful of other vehicles parked next to it, many of them painted with eldritch sigils, indicating they're part of a larger machine like fleet. These appear to be Bell's servants' personal vehicles.
It's my least favorite type
Perhaps are
of
some of the
weather.
motorcycles Bell's riders?
Yeah, exactly. You just push over all the motorcycles just to show who's boss.
Yeah, I'm coolest here.
Yeah. So yeah,
Apparently, Bryn has also become a teenager.
yeah. I mean, you know. So as you
teenagers are definitely not lawful.
as you come into the area, Lulu flits about nervously and probably stays close to the party, more so than usual, just because she seems a little spooked by this place, and as usual, desperately attempting to remember as you enter. So you're heading inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. Okay. All right. A wrought iron spiral staircase descends into a cavernous forge. Channels of bubbling lava wind through the complex, casting fiery light over huge anvils. Chained giants with coal black skin and fiery orange hair hammer out weapons under the malignant gaze of a pit fiend seated in a flying throne. Throughout the forge, sparks fall like rain. So I'm gonna bring you over and I'm gonna show you a couple of things for the forge. So here we are. You've just entered Bell's forge.
Big sword guys.
Yeah. So let me show you this. So the token, if you look at the token, they look super huge, right? They got like huge shoulders, big broad chest. Turns out they're mostly upper body.
They look like weirdly proportioned Ganondorfs.
I love these fire giants. I love them.
This is exactly the thought process when someone saw Wind Waker for the first time. They're like, that looks too kiddie. Let me mod it so it looks more realistic.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you get.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's a great reveal too, because if you just look at the top of the art, you're like, yeah, and you slowly scroll down, and there's just tiny legs and their little loincloth. So there are several of those, several fire giants, and then of course our old friend Bell on his flying throne.
What a fucking dweeb.
Yeah, and you see him kind of at the other end of the forge. The chained giants pay no attention to you as you enter, hammering away at their enormous forges on whatever projects they are currently working on.
I'm just Bell is wearing like his own face on a t-shirt. He's like a Twitch streamer.
He's yeah, exactly.
He's wearing his own merch.
Ron is wearing his Ron shirt. Ron's Ron shirt. So I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw. Please. It's only DC 5 because it's just the first one.
Well, I can't fail then.
Yeah, anybody.
Is there anything like? Is this because of the heat?
It is. Yes.
So if I have like, if I have hellish resistance, does that matter? It's fire damage.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
creatures with resistance or immunity to fire damage automatically succeed on this saving throw.
Okay, then I don't have to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I hate it. Like we were talking about this in chat. Like I don't enjoy that it's hot, but it doesn't hurt me.
You all suddenly understand how it feels to be the proverbial ice cube in hell. But yeah, some of you are more resistant than others. So for the time being, yeah, it's merely sweaty. And as you enter, you see on the far side of the room, you see the demon Lord Bell, and he looks up, and when he sees you, I think he does address you.
You've arrived. Come, approach my throne.
Okay.
I approach less echo in this.
I approach towards the throne.
Usually, have you heard of acoustic foam?
It's built in. I can't. I always sound like this. Come on.
Okay.
Bryn walks up with Sathra.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Lulu flutters nervously behind you as you approach.
Left the dog in the car with the AC on.
Okay,
that's why we have to leave the car running all the
soul
time.
coins
That's why we never turn it off. It's because the soul coins are powering the air conditioning. I fucking solved it.
I'm glad they at least have air conditioning in hell.
You have to.
So you approach Bell, and does anybody like bow or kneel or salute or anything like that, or do you just walk up?
I produced the tablet from what's her name from Ralzala. That's the thing that I'm doing. I'm just like pulling this tablet out.
I think Bryn.
So you take it out and you hold it out to him, or
yeah,
okay.
You know, like the
having enough like inclination. It shows respect. I don't think she like bows dramatically, but I think it's like there's certain like reverential sort of like a nod of yes, you are clearly capable of murdering me. Just at a whim.
That's one specific method of understanding a hierarchy. I will bow to you because if I don't, you're going to squish me with your flying throne.
Yeah. Is there an indicator of like proper behavior? Is he like looking at us like expectantly?
I mean, he's a pit fiend and one of the like demon lords or devil lords of hell. So like he probably expects some form of bowing and scraping. But up to you whether you do it.
November does a very, very awkward. November does a very awkward, like fumbling, like curtsy sort of thing. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Svirfneblin don't really see much point of getting closer to the floor, so they have like an Arnold J. Rimmer kind of spinning salute. Onto their head.
It's like a.
Yeah, the wafting salute. All right, so
military salute.
So I guess aside from Sathra, who just takes out her stone business card,
Sathra just decides she's outside of the current hierarchy. Like she's got a different hierarchy that she deals with.
So Bell takes. I guess he looks down. He looks down at the tablet briefly, and then looks over at Bryn and says,
"This is not the gift I expected you to bring me, Bryn.
This
Where
is not
are my adamantine rods?"
It's a step in the process. We don't exactly have a lot of information to work on, and we had something that I think is more beneficial to you that we are currently in the process of when you very graciously offered to revive me.
Bring me that tablet.
He puts a hand out, and his throne like lowers to the floor.
I hand him the stone tablet.
The flying throne thing just makes me think of Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's out of control!
Right? He flies over, and you give him a taste of the Dendar Gum Jabbar. Okay, so when he comes closer, Lulu kind of flutters back behind Sosarova to hide. And he takes the
Is it like when you open up the oven and all of the hot air like wafts onto your face?
Yeah. And as he gets closer, like that aura of heat.
Shades steam up.
Yeah. Just have to take them off and wipe them on your armor.
Your eyelashes, if you're wearing mascara, get stuck together.
Yeah. So he lowers down, he takes the tablet and he looks at it and says,
"So you freed Ralzala. Zariel's not going to like that."
We're not here to please Zariel.
"So you've come here to please me, then? You know what I want. Why have you come before me empty-handed?"
Like I said, our primary reason for being here in this plane was to, I suppose, in a roundabout way, put an end to Zariel's reign. Which I think is more valuable for you than any amount of adamantine bars. Not that I will not continue upon that quest, but it is not our primary objective.
So when he responds, and it's physically impossible for me to do this, but I'll describe what happens. So when he responds, the words that he is speaking with his voice as his mouth is moving, and the words that your ears hear are one thing, and then in all of your minds, you hear a different thing that he's saying. So what he says out loud is,
"I am a loyal servant of Asmodeus and ally to Zariel. I will not have you speak ill of her in my presence."
But of course, what you hear in your head is,
"Insurrection against the fallen angel. Good, I approve. Your first priority is finding those adamantine rods, but in your other activities, perhaps we can assist one another.
Of course. Bryn tries to do like she's like, I'm not that smart. How do you have two conversations at once? She's like stumbling a little.
Did I just think that, or did I say it out loud? Let's just say Zariel moved me to a bigger house. Yeah, so I think he's clearly capable of having two separate conversations, but if you wanna communicate mentally the secret, we can assume, if you'd like, that the verbal communication is like, yes, of course, my lord, I understand. Zariel is super
I'm so sorry to have disappointed
like
you
if you want to just play
word.
that game to cover it, then in all of your heads, the conversation continues in a more treasonous direction.
I think Sosrovo can do this.
Yeah.
That sounds like a kind of wizard thing to learn to do.
Well, because you already have to keep all the spells you've prepared going up over and over and over in your head while you're doing literally anything else. Mm-hmm. So yeah, tricky business. So it's easier for you. Yeah. So anyway, during the secret treason conversation, what do you want to say? Yeah,
what do we want to say? We know. Just any lead that he has on the adamantine bars would be super helpful, but he's probably going to be pissed that we're asking for it.
I think that from what I remember of the goal of the adventure in the first place is there's a castle made out of goodness containing Zariel's sword.
Right, in a big scab.
And that's what we're actually looking for.
Yes.
I know it's been a while.
No, but that's what chapter 3 is about, is figuring out, getting a lead on Zariel's sword, which is currently buried under a big scab.
I reckon we ask that as payment for our doing the side quest for him, right? That seems like a reasonable thing.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you say to Bel, Lord of the Forge?
What I was going to suggest was, oh, mighty archdevil of forging and fire and stuff. I may be able to help locate the creatures, but am missing the magician components required. I could do this for you, but I would need something to scry with.
If you're looking for the Bleeding Citadel, as my spies have indicated, your pathetic magic will find nothing. It is hidden. But you're lucky. I happen to know where it is. Please me, and I will tell you.
No.
Hey, do you mean the thing that we didn't ask you yet that you'll tell us, or the thing that
he knows? He knows what you're looking for, right? Like he says he names it, and I think because you're the closest to her, Lulu makes a nervous squeaking sound when you say when he says Bleeding Citadel. She's like, oh yeah, that thing, and then hides behind you again, like, oh God, keep him away from me.
Oh no, I was going to do the thing for you first before deigning to possibly try and negotiate something without giving in return.
And in return, you want diamonds? Puny mortal triflings. I can take your diamonds for you from the earth itself. But not until you've done what I ask. I want those rods, Bryn, as you promised.
Yes, of course. At no point would I have reneged on that. I gave you my word.
Good. Then you understand the gravity of our bargain. If you wish to vouchsafe your soul and learn the location of the Bleeding Citadel, you must go and speak to the Cibriax. My spies have captured one, and I think it knows more than it's letting on.
About the rods?
You have my permission to interrogate it about whatever subject you wish. If it leads you to the rods, good. All the better for us both.
Thank you for your assistance. Hell is large and vast and terrifying. I do not think we could have done this without it.
I'm certain of it.
we are pathetic in your
Right. Good
I'm
kowtowing. Like it. He's clearly digging it.
Yeah, no, she's like, oh no,
He's
figured it out.
clearly
She's like,
digging.
he's like the captain of the guard that wants you to say nice things to
Yeah.
him.
Exactly. It's harder for you to not accidentally call him sergeant than it is.
Yeah, like, sir, yes, sir. Right
Yes,
away, sir.
whatever you
You're
say,
always
Captain.
smart,
I mean,
sir.
Lord of Hell. Whatever.
You've never once made a bad mistake, sir.
Yeah,
Accidentally
Bryn
calling the
does the
teacher wrong.
kowtowing, and I think it's been so long since we've all been in like flaming fist territory that November's like,
What
What?
is Bell if not the biggest flamingest fist?
Exactly. Eat big fist.
So you said there's
sorry,
someone to interrogate, or
I didn't quite understand the word you said of the thing to ask.
Sybriacs?
Sybriacs?
The creature you seek is a Sybriax, a kind of fiend, a lore collector, a secret stealer, hoarders of forbidden knowledge. We've managed to wring a few delicate secrets from this one. I think you could find more.
Where
Like-
can
Good
we
at that.
interrogate them?
torturing
You
Bryn
didn't
like
have to
looks
do
at
that.
Sosorovo. It's like, no. Like,
them? Okay, yeah.
I also think
I know what it
I'm
is.
just like,
too.
yes.
But yeah, I assume Sathra was like, wait, not torture?
There's like two very like starkly different.
Yeah,
reactions.
everybody shares a moment of like, maybe we do that. That works. So when you say how do we find it or where is it, Bell responds with, again, speaking words of chastisement and praise for Zariel, but in your mind,
A servant of mine, an imp, Balakros, awaits for you on the surface. He will show you on your map where the Sybriax lies.
Seems reasonable.
I think that you will find, unlike my brethren, I am nothing but reasonable.
All right, well, we'll handle this for you, and then we'll be back to speak to you about what you know.
Good.
and then he gestures like, "Be gone with you," and then slow-mo floats away on his cool hover chair.
Yeah, that's
I
good
just
too.
want to Eldritch Smite him off the chair.
I mean, listen, if you want to fight Bell right this very moment,
It's not a good plan.
he's only CR 25.
And the fire
and there's
giants
only
are
5
also-
fire giants standing in the
Yeah,
room.
like-
So
Totally not.
yeah. So do you want to head back? Any other questions? I mean, Bell has dismissed you. If you have
Yeah,
more
I
questions or
mean,
demand more things, you can certainly
sh-
ask of them once you know where his precious rods are.
We should.
Let's
we
go
should, I
figure
guess-
out where those rods are.
Yeah, I guess we'll go get the rods. You know.
Well, I'm pretty sure all the rods currently are in quarantine. Rod Stewart.
Get out of here.
Please name more rods for me.
You only
Is
had one
I
rod.
only
You
have
had
one
one
rod.
rod.
Is Rod
I only have a single
Rowdy
rod.
Roddy Piper? Is Rod
Yeah,
Serling?
Rod's
Rod
just
Serling's
still
dead, right?
alive.
I don't know a lot of rods. Like
Rod is a very like it's
Rod
a rarer
Flanders?
name. Yeah.
Roderick?
I feel like there's a Roderick.
Sorry, Wadwick.
I just
Okay.
I know where most of them would be. You know, just generally, vaguely, not specifically. But
So you head back upstairs to the outside of the forge, right? You come outside and by comparison, the air up here is cool and easy to breathe versus how it was downstairs. You didn't spend very long in there, so you're able to get out fairly quickly. And as promised, waiting outside, there is an imp sort of fluttering boredly near the entrance, waiting for you. And when you arrive, when you walk outside, the imp, whose name was Balakros. So
Yes.
so Balakros appears and says to you, when you come out, I guess you would uncloak because they can turn invisible. He uncloaks and he says, "Bryn and company, I presume."
Yes.
And
That's
he does a little bow, and he says, "If you'll come with me," and gestures over his head.
Do any of you know what a Sybriax is?
No. No idea.
mm-mm.
I
All right.
assume you can still read its mind.
If it has one.
Well, I can zone of truth. That's about all I got.
I have other methods.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on the. We'll start with the easier.
You
one.
assume my methods will be decapitation because that's what I've done so far, but I have a new spell that I think
Is
will
it,
be.
is it speak with dead head?
It isn't that, no.
Listen, in personal experience, do not attempt to speak to a deadhead. It's very frustrating. They'll just end up staring at their hands the whole conversation. It's not good. So do you? So when you come out, the imp starts flying and is basically like, "Come with me." And he sort of walk and talks with you, Bryn. He says, "Our most glorious master has instructed me to lead you to the camp where we've got the Sybriacs imprisoned. Now, normally I'd take you down to the dock and we would take a barge, but I noticed you have your own vehicle. So if you prefer to drive, I'll come along and point the way, so you don't get lost."
That sounds great. Also, then we don't have to leave our car behind.
You're not
Yeah.
expecting to come back? Of course you will.
Well, I
Great.
mean, I'm sure we'll come back, but I don't know how long. We've had to do a lot of go to a place and then go to another place and then go to another place before we can go back to the first place. So it's good to be prepared.
Yeah, let's drive. I love that car.
Okay. All right. So he
The dungeon fucker.
so first, yeah, that's right. That is exactly. So first the imp asks, "Do you have a map?"
Of course.
And you take it out, and on the map, your new friend points out the Sybriacs, which is right there. Yeah.
That is not how I spelled it.
Right. It's one of those words. So Sybriacs, yeah, it's right there.
I spelled mine CY.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. Yeah. I also kind of pronounced it more like Sybriacs than Sybriacs, but demon voice.
Jeez, Adam.
So okay, so you you're led out by this imp, and he floats down into the onto the car, and he clings to the windshield, and once everybody gets in, he says, "All right, let's go," and points a scrawny finger at the horizon as you head off in that direction. So there's a roll, like if you have someone guiding you, I think it's D10s for the getting lost roll. Let me take a quick look.
I think you're right.
I think it
We
is.
talked about it like
Yeah,
last
let's
time.
do it. So roll someone roll 2d10 on the rare chance. Okay, Blue Jay, you got it. A 10 to 4. Okay. All right. So a travel day, an amount of time passes, and you arrive at the Sybriacs, which I will both describe and show you a very delightful handout of. So let's see here. Here we go. Spiky chains lash a 15-foot diameter floating blob of quivering flesh to a 20-foot tall wrought iron scaffold. Two fiends wrapped in chains stand atop the scaffold, torturing the bloated creature's flesh by tightening its chains. Demon ichor oozes from its wounds, forming a shallow pool around the scaffolding. A third, jackal-headed fiend uses a bronze horn to yell loudly up at the bloated prisoner in multiple languages. It sits cross-legged about halfway up the scaffolding. So that's what the Sybriacs looks like. So there's the Sybriacs. Yeah.
Love to see it.
And then the jackal-headed creature, like so. I guess it's also jackal-bodied, but that's fine. You can't really see its body from where you're sitting.
Arcanalots are awesome.
Yeah, right. And then
It's like the cute one and then the very extremely not cute
And then
one. These two
up
animals are
top-
from different adventures.
up top, tightening the chains, are Hell's very own go-go dancers themselves. A couple of chain devils. They work hard and they play hard. So that's what you see as you arrive, and as you pull up, the imp says to you, "They know you're coming, so just introduce yourself, and I'm sure it'll be fine. For safety's sake, I'm going to stay down here with the car." And he says, "Good luck," and then turns invisible.
Reassuring.
God, that's. Oh, I'm gonna throw up in my hat.
It's also very
Don't
drippy
do that.
too. Yeah, there's a lot
Don't
of
do that.
Miffles,
fluid.
get the bag. Get the bag. Yeah. I'll read his mind, but I'm not going to look at it.
Fair. Very reasonable.
Okay.
All right. Excuse me, Wolf Boy, Wolfie.
So as you approach, the Arcanoloth puts the trumpet up to its face and shouts into the trumpet, and so you hear like, "Tell us everything you know about Zariel." And then there's like a
That's
pause,
definitely nothing.
and then there's a pause, and then the Arcanoloth makes a face and picks up a red flag and waves it at the chain devils up above, and they tighten the chains, and gore drips down from the Sybriacs, and the Arcanoloth says, "You see? There's only more where that came from. You should just cooperate." And as you get closer, I think probably November. What's your alignment?
Good.
Neutral
Neutral
good?
good. Yeah.
Okay, I have to make a quick adjustment to my little voice box here because you and you alone, you hear a chorus of strange voices in your head as you get closer.
Oh, it's
November.
my first voices in my head.
A lot of telepathy in this adventure. Yeah, so you hear, "Please help us."
And she's like looking around like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
So you hear this like warbling chorus of voices in your mind.
yeah, so she looks around like, who the fuck? And then looks at the Sybriacs and is like, ah.
And then you hear, "Yes, you see our suffering. Please, freedom."
And I look at the rest of the party. Is anyone else like giving any indicators of like, I am also hearing a voice in my head, or like,
I mean, I think it looked like Sosorovo is trying to knot Ralph in their hat.
mhm.
Bryn, it's very hard to tell what Bryn is feeling
often
now
hears
because
voices in her
Bryn
head.
has
Yeah.
cool sunglasses now, so it's
Yeah.
really hard
Right.
to read her.
I'm
Yeah.
pulling straight up, Zimbardo, like, and sorry, I'm just gonna go psychology joke there.
Nice.
Right, they gave them the sunglasses. You didn't see that feed.
And I feel like if you lit Sathra's pants on fire, you would get the same response as every other, and just be like, disappointing.
Jeez.
She only has one expression.
Yeah. Resting
I-
Dendar face.
Yeah, I will like attempt to, I don't know, like reply telepathically and be like, are you the Sybriacs?
We are. Yes. Long have we suffered in the hands of these creatures. Please, help us.
Are you manually?
You got it.
Sounds awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish it's making me want a USB controller so I actually have knobs I can fuck with while I'm doing that.
And yeah, I think that she's gonna not take an action like right now specifically,
Yeah.
but she's definitely like looking around a little bit more concerned, and is probably gonna like, obviously we had already like, or Sosorovo had already like tried to speak to the jackal-headed creature.
Only as you were approaching. We haven't really gone down that path yet, right? So like as you get closer, probably the Arcanoloth gets fed up with not getting a response and then shouts like, "Take 10, boys," and turns around and looks down and is like, "Oh," and then grabs the side of the scaffolding and slides down it, lands crouching on the ground, gets up and brushes off their robes and starts walking towards you.
Hello, we're here to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Sorry about that.
And so the Arcanoloth looks at you and the four of you and is like, "What? You're my relief? I can go home? Because Jank and Shalak and I have been at this for a long time. We've got some good information for the Dark Lord, but we can still do it. There's no reason to get rid of us."
I don't think that the prime idea here was to get rid of you. We just have a separate question to ask.
Oh,
Or your break relief.
He's like, "Oh, that's a relief. Well, as you can see, you're welcome to the Horn if you want. I've managed to get it to tell me bits and pieces, but nothing of any value. You know,
Torture isn't a very reliable form of interrogation, right? Often they'll just say anything to get it to stop.
Yeah, we run into that at the Flaming Fist a lot.
And the creature looks at it looks at the two of you and is like, "That's insane. Where are you from? You're talking like children."
Never mind them. They don't know what they're talking about. It's fine. Torture is great.
He turns and he says, "Well, I'm going to assume you're in charge. So we're going to take a break. We'll be over there if you need anything." And he reaches into his robes and takes out a pack of smokes and is just like, "I'm on break," and walks off. The two chain devils
smoking
follow.
Arcanaloth. Like,
yeah.
I was going to try and find out if it's a spellcaster. This gets harder if it is.
I don't know.
I can chat for them to come back.
You could just go ask them. They might be on break, but they'd probably still answer that question.
It depends on how strict Hell's Union is.
I was saying it as they'd gone away because it's a lot of questions that are like,
yeah.
Does it have legendary resistance? Is this going to work? So they're not questions anyone can actually answer.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to get up a little closer and make an Arcana check to try to like figure out one of these things, right? You've seen lots of books on demonology and what have you. So
yeah. Oh god.
So yeah, there's a ladder that ascends. Think of it as one of those big electricity pylons, one of those big metal ones they have kind of out in the suburbs. Big one of those, but made out of gnarled metal instead of like steel, big gnarled iron thing. And then up top, this thing is all chained to it. And then it has the chains hanging from it. The chains up there are all barbed and spiked, and they're like dug into its wet, swollen exterior.
God.
Do we know why?
Gross myself out saying that.
Yeah.
Do you know why they've done this? Just because it knows things? This seems very cruel.
Yeah, that's why I learned spells instead.
This is hell.
I don't like it.
The only thing that we need is the answer to the question where the adamantine rods are, and then we don't care what they do with it.
Speaking of which, what are you going to do with adamantine rods?
I mean, presumably Bell's Forge is hot enough to melt them into adamantine other stuff, which is something that lots of places can't do.
Yeah, but I meant like, what's the end goal? It's a very specific material.
Adamantine sword? Adamantine, I don't know, codpiece? Who cares?
It's so rare and so expensive.
He's a demon he's a devil on a floating chair. Who cares what he wants?
I think it's interesting too, Sathra, that you would know about like hot forges required to melt adamantine because probably one of a few volcanoes hot enough is the one in Chult. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's cool.
I figured that wouldn't be outside of my experience necessarily.
All right. So how are we doing this? Are you just going to try and read its mind and then we'll go from there? Or
don't say it so loud. Doesn't know it's coming yet. Element of surprise helps.
All right. I'll yell the question through the trumpet.
Just get up to the trumpet. Okay.
While the yelling and interrogating is taking place, can I like look and see like what the contraption or chains that are holding this thing in place?
Yes. So the Sybriex is bound to the tower by 6 iron chains. It appears that the creature's natural method of movement is flight. It kind of looks like a what are those? What's the StarCraft unit? The Overmind or whatever they're like flying.
Overlords.
Yeah, Overlords. Looks like a big flying brain. So it looks like the chains are binding it to the tower. There are 6 of them. They're metal. You imagine that you could
as we
break or untie them.
In the goop underneath it, we get like slightly enhanced movement speed.
As I say, don't walk in the goop because this thing is dripping that same black ichor that you saw the merchant douse himself with. Remember when the mutated guy?
Yes. Yeah. All right, let me see what we're working with here. You said an Arcana check to see.
If you want to see what you know about it, sure.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Increased proficiency. Feels good. That is the wrong skill.
Yeah, that's history.
Same modifier.
You don't know the history of Sybriex's, but it's the same modifier. Okay.
Yeah.
You're 14. Okay, so I'll tell you some basic stuff. A Sybriex is a demon. It's a form of demon, which means it's chaotic. It's not a devil. So this is a blood war prisoner of some kind. You're going to want to stay away from it at least 30 feet, because anything within 30 feet of a creature like this dies. And you're remembering this in the form of like medieval woodcut, like paintings, right? From a book. So there's like one of these things and then waves coming off of it and like people melting and dying all around it. There is like a sorcerer dressed in a black, or a warlock in a black robe with horns conjuring one from a pentagram. And then also, you know that it has an ability to channel its warped blood, and it can warp the flesh of its enemies. So it can cause you to like grow additional limbs. It can warp the flesh if it is able to do so.
That's the 30 feet thing.
Two different things. The 30-foot one, if you stay within 30 feet of it, you will die. Like you'll just disintegrate. And then it can also, make your limbs fall off. It can mutate you, right, etc. Make you grow suddenly covered in eyes, that sort of thing.
Jesus.
Some see this as a weapon, but others summon a Cibriex for this very purpose. And so I again imagine in this manual you read about warlocks summoning a Cibriex to grant them like the powers of hell. And so you see one with like wings and another one with like huge claws, and it's clearly like granting them, gifts of chaos.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want gifts of chaos.
Yeah, right?
But we'll see if we can ask it for that, just as like a little bonus.
Yeah.
All right.
If I have more hands, I can chop with more swords.
That's
D&D
true.
doesn't have rules for that.
True.
Okay, so first things first, everyone, don't get too close. I'd recommend exactly 30 feet.
That's very specific. Wizards.
It's how
Very-
wizard books are written. They're all like with measurements. It's weird how specific it has to get. So sorry.
How
And
far
also-
like overhead is it? Is it past 30 feet? Is that why they like, because didn't you say there were people like literally on top of it?
So the way that it is described is it's probably outside. Like the people with the chains are pulling pulleys and staying far enough away to be outside of its
Oh, they
its
were
grasp.
pulling chains. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't remember much more than that. Also, I can turn you into like gross things like it. Oh god.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it. All right, let's give this a shot. I will cast this.
Yeah, as you're about to cast a spell, right? You like get ready and you're about to speak, and then everyone hears the voice of the Cibriex. Have you come to hurt us? We've suffered so much already. And so everyone hears that in their mind.
Your suffering can be over. I trumpet. Your suffering can be over in a mere moment if you just answer one question for us.
Like really?
Would
We have the
I don't
authority to do that.
release us?
I don't care either way, as long as I get what I want.
Are you lying to the Cibriex about this?
Yes.
Okay, I figured. I just thought I'd check. Okay, do you want to make a deception check?
I would indeed.
Okay.
I will do this with
Think,
my
like-
inspirational advantage.
Bryn's dealing with the conflict of like
28.
It's a good thing you used advantage.
Yeah, sorry, Lauren, you were saying?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
just the lawful part of like probably Belle will murder us if we set this thing free. And also this thing doesn't seem like a thing we want to be free if like everything within 30 feet of it just dies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying about the unicorn.
Like-
and everyone was like,
doesn't-
nah.
It doesn't seem like we'd actually be doing like that seems like a bad idea.
So
Like,
it's
not
fine
even
for
people
people who
bad.
are it's fine for people who are bad to be tortured.
I mean, if it's floating
Yes.
around, we'll probably die. As far as Bryn is concerned right now, yes. She doesn't care because she's evil.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
She's
so,
like, it's like the same as locking up someone who's bad, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
this
mean,
person is
Thatcher's not
criminal,
planning-
they're gonna do
Thatcher's not
bad
planning to
things.
torture this creature at all if it answers the question.
Yeah.
Her current pursuit is cool. If I don't have to do any work and you just tell me what I want, great, and then I leave. Like that's
yeah,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say that, and you make your 28 deception roll, which is a very good result. And the Sybriax again responds. Very well.
A show of faith, then.
I will answer
One question, and then you will...
set us free.
I turn to Bryn, and I ask quietly so that it cannot take this as the one question. That
Yeah,
is being
right.
Clearly undirected.
Clearly not
at you.
aimed at them. Yeah. At them.
I ask, how many adamantine rods were there?
9. Right.
Lovely.
That's right.
I turn back.
Wait, tell him to submit to my thought-feeding spell to make sure he's not lying. That'll get past any resistances.
If I ask him to do that, that's one question.
He's a demon, not a devil. They don't do the law tricking. Actually, maybe they do.
They do. They also do. I speak abyssal. Trust me.
You're like, this is one of ours. I know how it goes.
Can you phrase it in a really long question with like a semicolon?
You could just use the command statement and not a question at all. Like allow Sosorovo to.
Man's gotta be
Ever.
one word.
Yeah, we can.
Oh,
we can,
say it.
we
as
can
a
do
command.
this.
Yeah.
That's not a question.
We can definitely do this. Here, I got it. I've got it. Thank you, friends, for organizing my thoughts.
Show of faith. For your show of faith, allow my compatriot here to read your thoughts so that we can determine if you are telling the truth.
Oh, no, we must not.
Not do that. Too many are the secrets within our mind. Too dangerous. Too risky.
I mean, I'm fairly perceptive. I could just.
All
What,
right.
read its facial expression?
It's not necessarily facial expression,
What?
intonation.
What
tone.
emotion is the Sybriax
No,
feeling
this is-
just
this
now?
is this is Sosorovo being like, why solve a problem without magic when you can use magic
I
to solve
look-
the problem?
Yeah.
I'm sure you
I looked
could,
at
actually.
Yeah, you
November
still
and
can.
I'm like,
I mean,
I'm
I'm
like,
just.
All right. Yeah. Pay close attention. Yeah.
I understand it's been tortured for the information in its head. Like I understand it wouldn't just give it up willingly, you know.
Just said, there's so many.
Right? It's a big saggy secret bag, and it's just
In
floating
fairness,
right
there's
there.
no reason you can't try after we get the answer to our question.
Mhm.
Okay.
It just might
Hold
not
on.
work, or you might
So
not.
I'm going to ask now. Is everybody ready for me to ask?
Rock and roll.
My one question is, where are the 9 adamantine rods Bell has lost?
Hell's lost property.
Yes, we know of this.
We have seen it. One of the flying fortresses dragged from the sky. In its cargo hold, the rods you will find a wreck.
Is
Wonderful.
it telling the truth?
You can make an insight check, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, do it.
I get a 10.
As far as you can tell, it is, yes.
And I like nod at Sather, like,
All right. Wonderful. Thank you for that.
And then I turn and I walk away.
oh, wait.
Where are you going?
That belly
No.
helps.
We said we would free it. We can't just.
I say things all the time, like that I'll slice off people's heads, and then that's not true, and then you stop me from doing that, and then
I mean-
there's lots of things that I say that. Do you really care about lying to a horrible demon?
I mean, we freed the vampire and the unicorn.
Vampire, not a horrible demon. Unicorn,
I mean, it tried to.
also not a horrible demon.
It tried to kill Sosorovo.
Yeah, no. So this is a thing, right? Where like mechanically, Sathrai is correct that this thing is chaotic evil. Sosoro can confirm that it's a demon, and it definitely nothing good would come of freeing it, right? Like, and this becomes sort of the D&D ethics question: is it okay to let two evil things torture each other because they're evil?
Here is my question to you. November. Not that I don't agree with your moral standing on this, but if we free it, assuming we can free it, because we can't approach within 30 feet of it without mutating. If you'd like an extra several eyeballs, then you're welcome to go ahead. I'd rather not. Then are you ready to fight, Coyote Steve and the 3 Bane demons over there? Because that's what's going to happen next. And then we've killed a bunch of people for no reason. So
I mean, I
Belle will also probably murder us.
You said that you would.
I say lots of things.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't have.
Then I wouldn't have the answer to my question.
Speaking of which, it doesn't really narrow it down that much.
Certainly, somebody knows where there's a crashed ship. That's hardly a more secret piece of information. I'll ask the Arcanoloth. I'm sure it knows.
Oh.
Yeah, are you headed back towards them?
That was my
That
plan.
makes sense.
And November does this.
I'm
thing
still
where-
open to this argument, by the way, Blue Jay. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
totally.
dismiss your
No,
thing.
no, it's fine.
I
mean,
I
the
like
thing
it.
is,
It's a
like,
good conflict.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
it is
really
an-
cool, and it's interesting because it's illustrating the difference between lawful good and neutral good, right? Where like you're like, yeah, well, I mean, I lied, but I lied to a demon, so is that like?
Still
Yeah.
a lie.
It's
Yeah.
one step more horrible than me.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, but yeah, the thing being is that like it makes sense what you're saying about like Belle will hate us,
Yeah,
like these guys
totally.
will come after us. Also, it's a devil and probably like a bad creature in the first place, although
Mhm.
I've never met a Sibirax, so like don't judge things by the way they look, But like so November understands that those things are all true, but she'll probably be like, okay, like after we are done with Belle, maybe we can come back and secretly free it or something like that.
Yeah, right.
It's just like it
And
makes
then-
sense. Your
and
arguments
then-
make sense. So I'm not really interested in like continuing
Yeah.
to free this
I-
evil creature, but like
I definitely think there's that little conversation where it's like, we'll come back after, and Sather's like, of course, after having just said, I
Yeah,
say
I say a
lots
lot
of
of things.
things.
Well, I think it's an interesting kind of thing to have come up that like sometimes you have to do bad things to accomplish your goals.
Yeah.
And I think that as you're walking back to the car, November, Lulu flutters over to you and she says, "Hey, don't worry. Keep your chin up. Sometimes bad stuff happens, and you just gotta try and be extra good, like me. I'm not normally this extra, but I figure we're in hell, so I'm just trying to be cheerful and make sure everybody doing okay. Don't worry." She gives you a little like fake punch on the chin with one of her little elephant arms.
Little headbutt.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Oink.
I appreciate that, Lulu. Like thinking about like how every time we encounter anything that's even a little bit evil, Lulu's like, it should fucking die.
I mean, that's her, but that's what she means, right?
No. Yeah. Like I
If
understand.
If Lulu could handle it, she would kill everyone on this plane. Like, she's just
I
like, I
know.
am fucking surrounded by the evilest motherfuckers in the world, but I'm also very small. And
I'm
sometimes
just imagining like Super Saiyan Lulu
just
just
blasting around.
just trumpets and it just confettis the whole plane.
Yeah. She was the artillery commander for Zariel's original army, so she just needs a firing solution. Just say the word
No,
and
I'm-
she'll turn the red key.
Yeah, I'm not making like I'm not I have no problems with it's just my character is
No,
good.
totally,
We're
and-
letting a thing be tortured. Like it's like I'm not
Yeah.
I don't think like I hope that you guys weren't like
No.
No,
Lulu
not at all.
problem
Well, and
with
that's
it.
the
Like,
thing
I
is
don't
like Lulu is being nice to you because she's like, well, it's just you and me now, bud. Everybody else is slowly going hell cuckoo. So
it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have
Speaking
any problems
of
with it.
asking out of character whether it's okay to do things,
Mm.
Sos Forever is gonna hang back,
oh yeah.
Oh, you want to
and
go
I'm
ahead,
gonna
bud.
I'm gonna say to it, I'm gonna be like, they probably couldn't do it anyway, but if you let me have a look in there, I will, and I do not break promises.
You wish to see what we have seen? I do not think you understand what you ask for.
I've been training my entire life, most of my life for this.
We shall see.
Detect thoughts.
Okay. All right. So the Symbiox isn't going to just let you do it. You still have to make the roll. There's still the saving throw and everything. Because, you know, if you're a good wizard like you think you are, then you'll be able to penetrate its mental defenses. And if you can't, it'll just laugh at you. And it does have an ability called Squirt Bile. Are you within 120 feet of this thing?
Probably.
Also, how good do those internal sphincters have to be to squirt bile 120 feet?
That is some power.
That is intense. Yeah, that's
I
some
mean,
like
it can
mantis
warp
shrimp type
flesh.
shit.
Sphincter up real good.
Okay, so you want to try to penetrate its mind?
Absolutely.
All right. So
But-
what's the saving throw?
The saving throw is irrelevant because it rolls a 2.
Okay, all right. What kind of saving throw is it?
It's a. Oh, that's longer than I thought it would be. Wisdom.
Okay. It rolls a 2 and chooses to succeed at its saving throw instead of failing.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
that
I
would
saw
happen.
that coming.
So what does it look like? The two of you have this mental battle where you're like trying to penetrate its mind, and there's all these layers and fortresses, and it's like, you know, it's the equivalent of in Shadowrun when the Decker takes 45 minutes to do a hack all by themselves, but we concentrate that into a single roll. You attempt to penetrate its mind, and when you fail, does Sosorovo do anything?
Yeah, I think it's actually just because it's overwritten me changing time. I think it does something. I think it's like the classic kind of nosebleed sort of situation where like it's caused me kind of a psychic backlash because I've attempted to manipulate time to cheat this roll, and it's just been like no.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Okay, so when it's clear to the camera that Sosorovo has failed, the voice again speaks in your mind. Such
Hubris.
pathetic mortal wizard. Now, pay the price.
ah!
And I need you to make a DC 20 Constitution saving throw.
Ah! I don't like that too. I can't even cheat that with portent. Sick deal.
Yeah, it's like you have another high portent, right? You got a 16, I think.
Yeah, that's not enough because you're not next to me anymore. Because I hang.
I
back.
mean, yep.
All right,
I'm
I'll just roll it.
definitely-
I'll just roll. This
yeah.
game's easy. I always do that. Here we go. Pew!
Go
Just
so
do it!
close.
Just do it!
That is a 19 for our podcast listeners. A 19.
Oh,
All right, so you are poisoned.
perfect.
Right, you're poisoned. You gain 1 level of exhaustion. And
Okay.
now I would love it if you rolled percentile dice for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Pew!
Okay.
Oh
Ooh,
Jesus
big
Christ! This is
100.
bad.
Big 100. All right. So let me consult my.
What is the big 100?
That's really bad.
Or is it really good?
Actually, I guess I can just look at the macro.
It's one or the other.
Why can I roll that on the passing save?
Let's see.
I succeed on a deal.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh
Could
god.
have just walked away, but you didn't.
Yeah.
But I kind of knew it had this ability, and I kind of wanted to see what happened.
There it is. I found it. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness.
What is it?
So Sorovo, you
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Target grows another head,
Oh god.
causing it to have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, frightened, or stunned. Sorovo, you grow a second head.
So Grovo.
To Sorovo. So yeah, you feel a terrible sudden pain as a lump begins to form on your collarbone, and as it swells, it pushes your neck and your head off to one side. Your skin stretches as you grow a new spine, a new skull, and then flesh around this brand new copy of your own head.
You have a spare hat.
Your head's big enough to cover both if you like quickly pull it over so it like stretches. But yeah, now you need 4 like extra eye holes in the hat or like. But yeah, so you grow a second head.
All right, can you tell me again what resistances it gives me?
Yes. So as long as you have this mutation, let me get back.
Sathra has a way to solve this problem.
Oh my god. Sathra loves to decapitate. There you go.
Keep it. It's useful.
I mean, it's like weirdly useful to have a second head. Maybe out of hell, it will cause you more problems, but like in hell, it's probably fine.
I can think about twice as many things at the same time. This is actually low-key
Is it
awesome.
like 2 brains? Do you
Yes.
do Incubative Sosarovos now? Like
I have parallel processing.
you're got 2 CPUs.
Yeah. But I am poisoned.
Yep.
And I have a level of exhaustion. All right. So everybody goes back to the car. There's a few seconds, and then Sosorova obviously screams in pain, growing an extra head, and like falls back and like kind of collapses on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And like when the scream happens, it's like, oh my god, where's Sosorovo?
Yeah, all of us are like, oh, Sosorovo.
Of course.
Bryn pauses for a moment, sees Sosorovo falls over, and then, oh, that's right, and then goes over and picks them up and carries them back. Like, was that always there? Pointing at the second head.
Oh my god. What happened?
It hurts so
Are you
much.
So all of you hear in your mind,
Witness our gift.
are there any other supplicants? Come forth and taste the chaos of the abyss.
I don't feel as bad leaving it back there.
I don't feel bad for us not doing anything. Speaking of poison, I think I can fix
What
that.
happened? Why did you stay back? Why do you have
Try to read his mind. It's too
I could have
tempting.
told you that was a stupid idea.
That was a
Now
terrible
I
idea.
have 2 headaches.
It's my God's fault. It told me to do it.
Bryn sees that you look poorly and also that you have a second head and looks at Sathra and is like, Sathra may be able to solve one of these problems, but I can solve the other one, and I will
We're not cutting off his second head.
I'll lay on hands. I'm gonna expend 5 points for my pool and you recover being poisoned.
Thank you.
Okay.
Love that.
I'm pretty sure, because I think it's for every 5 points to cure one target of one disease or neutralize one poison. Would that count? Because if not, I can do lesser restoration.
Yeah, no, it's the poisoned condition. So Srova isn't actually poisoned, which I know,
right.
very confusing. But no,
Then-
you keep your lay on hands.
I will instead expend a 2nd level spell slot and use lesser restoration.
Okay.
And you are no longer poisoned.
Yes, in this case, you are no longer poisoned.
And this is one of my oath spells, so it is always prepared.
Okay, but I stay exhausted.
Stay exhausted.
That I can't help you with.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh God, it hurts so much.
I have no time to deal with your stupidity right now. Like
It wasn't. It should have worked. I bent reality. Oh,
Does that thing look like it cares if you bend reality or not? Like
nothing else seems to.
I'm walking over to the
Never
archdevil
smells
thing.
hurting. Oh.
And so as you
Bryn's
walk
just, like,
over,
holding
the Arcanula
Sosorovo.
takes the butt of the cigarette out of its mouth and flicks it onto the ground and exhales through its nostrils. And as it looks over at Sosoro, it shakes his head and he's like, "That's why you got to stay outside the safety perimeter there, bud. Good luck with your new dome."
Oh. Let's just go on the thing to the place. Fooling downtown.
I would be happy to hand your prisoner back over to your care. If maybe you had some information that might be helpful to me. We're looking for a downed Star Destroyer somewhere.
And he shakes his head. He's like, "Ain't no stars anywhere around here, Missy."
You know what I mean. The thing, the Zariel's
Big scary ship.
ships.
Oh, yeah. They do that sometimes. And there's one. You got a map?
Yes. Like, get the map out.
There is a hospital on the map. Please. So much.
I'm sorry, your condition is not severe enough. I think you're going to need home treatment for that. We're really trying to keep people out of the hospitals right now.
Yeah, thankfully
Yeah, the
you don't-
hospitals in hell are all overwhelmed.
Thankfully, you don't
right
need an
now.
expensive test to tell you that, yes, you definitely have an extra head. Okay, so to the east and south down here is a wreckage of a flying fortress.
Sweet.
And at a glance, you look there and you see, the gnarled iron of something, some sort of monolith sticking up. And as you head back to your vehicle, the imp there says, well, that looked like it was productive. You know where the rods are?
The down flying fortress.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I've been there before. I'll take you.
Perfect.
Great,
Let's
thank
go.
you.
All right. So you all get in the vehicle and head off for one of Zariel's crashed flying fortresses.
I feel like
That's
I'm
insensitive.
I feel like I'm doing one of those, like November is doing one of those like vision tests, like make sure Sosorovo's like first and second heads are okay. And like
cover
have a-
one head. And
So Zariel,
You-
how
do
many
you have a-
fingers am I holding up? 2, 4, no, 8, 16, 24? I don't know.
God, how does that? I just.
Yeah. So we'll,
I'm
Do
doing
not try and think about the cognitive experience of possessing
Yeah.
We're
Like,
gonna-
are the
one
brains
set of
connected?
eyes.
We're gonna
Are they-
take-
is it like
we're gonna
two
take a short
hemispheres?
Yeah, right. We're gonna take a short break here, and you can ponder what it means to be Zaphod Beeblebrox in the meantime. We will return shortly with the rest of today's episode of Roll20 Presents Descent into Avernus. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
We'll be right back.